I like Pooh Shiesty. Pooh Shiesty on the same yard, the same exact unit I've just paroled home from. He at USP Victorville, Unit 6B. He up there right now. Folks in them call, Yella, what's up? What's up with food? You know what I'm saying? He got songs with Dirk and them Diss and Duck, man. Motherfucker get on his ass, man. Leave that man alone, man. Let that man live his life, man. He ain't, he don't know no better. On my kids, niggas calling me from the feds. Folks, what's up? What y'all want us to do? What you want us to do? He up there on South Time. He ain't on nothing. He up there. You know what I'm saying? He ain't on shit, man. I ain't the type of nigga, okay, he did a song, should have ducked, you know what I'm saying? Duck this, man. Pooh Shiesty, obviously I know no better. It ain't like Pooh Shiesty got on them this and duck to.
So did you hear about the story that I put out?
It's true. It happened in Dallas. Yeah, they got him in the studio. They didn't take it. He lost in the midst of the fight. Contract release, it was some, some blows, stones, some fights. The watch fell, I think so in them some gremlins.
They said ain't no way Pooh Shiesty would do the same thing that sent him to jail again. Here's how I feel like he would get away with it. It's because one, it's street.
Gucci ain't gonna make he gonna say this.
He just gonna take that L because it's gonna make Gucci look weak. Where is he?
You think the feds ain't watching him to know what happened? They just ain't got a police report. A lot of information I've gotten from law enforcement.
Gucci seen you on YouTube, reached out to you. How did you feel when he reached out to you? Was you fucked up? Did you believe it? Or you thought it was a fake account?
Yeah, I ain't believe it at all. Look at my phone. I said, hell no, I wake up, I get all the way up. Look at my phone again. He text me again. He was like, what's up? I text back right there. I was like, what's chopping? He was like, man, I'm rocking with your music, home. You too hard. I instantly put my clothes on, leave. I go to the house. I wake Pops up. Then my manager. Hell no, this ain't real.
Right.
I wake him up. I show him. He couldn't believe he done there sweating. He get to sweat. So look. He sent me his number. He said, FaceTime me. I FaceTime him from there. We talked about like 5 hours. And it was up from there.
Actually, Gucci Mane was just robbed recently they say it was in LA. I know that, I don't know if you got to see the whole Gucci Mane Pooh Shiesty beef that's been going on. He was just robbed for his wedding ring and his watch. And they say Pooh Shiesty might allegedly have something to do with it, but they're not sure. But apparently him and Pooh Shiesty had a meeting in LA. And the meeting was over Pooh Shiesty trying to get off the 1017 label. And the whole turmoil between him and Pooh Shiesty happened because apparently Pooh Shiesty didn't like the way he handled the death of Big Scar. Big Scar was one of Gucci Mane's artists that was signed to 1017. He passed away over an overdose. He's from Memphis. He's actually Pooh Shiesty's little cousin. So him and Pooh Shiesty came up together. When Big Scar died, Gucci was supposed to pay for the funeral, which they said that he didn't. Then his wife posted receipts that he did pay for the funeral, but he also then asked for the chains back. I believe he had 4 chains that he gave to Big Scar. He asked for Big Scar's chains, and that turned into a whole online beef, a whole online orchestra. And Shiesty, I guess, just wasn't really feeling the way he went about it. And in the midst of all that, Shiesty's trying to get out the deal. Of course, Gucci Mane's like, hell no. And apparently it was like one of those Vanilla Ice Suge Knight situations where Pooh Shiesty pretty much walked in there and was like, yo, look, you gonna sign this shit. We gonna make sure you sign this shit. And apparently Shiesty was with some people and they made him sign it over. And then after they left, they say within minutes, a group of alleged some gangbangers rolled in there and relieved Gucci Mane of some jewelry. Now, I don't know how true that is, but it's been a rumor that's going up left and right. Nobody's been there to really say that it didn't happen, but they're also saying that Shiesty's trying to sign a Yo Gotti. There's a $10 million deal that's already been sitting.
One rap feature, one verse. And somehow, that decision followed a man all the way into a federal penitentiary. This wasn't internet gossip or comment section drama. This was prison politics, the kind that doesn't care about followers, plaques, or chart numbers. Word started spreading that Pooh Shiesty had serious issues with GDs at USP Victorville because of a Lil Durk track. A lot of people brushed it off as rumors. Then King Yella spoke up after coming home. Some people still called cap. Months later, a leaked song from Pooh himself quietly confirmed more than any interview ever could. So, what really happened? How does a Memphis rapper end up caught in the middle of Chicago gang history behind federal walls? And how did a feature he probably saw as a career move turn into something he had to answer for in prison? What this story isn't about clout, it's about how music, street history, and prison reality collided in a way nobody expected. Back in 2020, Lil Durk released a track called Should've Ducked after the passing of FBG Duck. The title alone told you what kind of energy the record carried. The tone was disrespectful, bold, and very personal. On that same track was T as a feature. Now, here's the part most people miss. Pooh didn't directly mention Duck in his verse. He rapped in his usual style about street life. But in street culture, and especially in prison, it doesn't matter what you personally said. If you're on the song, you're seen as co-signing the entire message. Guilty by association is a real rule behind bars. At the time, Pooh was rising fast. A Durk feature meant exposure, streams, and momentum. From his point of view, this was music business. What he likely didn't see was how deeply that song would be taken by people who viewed Duck as more than a rapper. For many GDs in Chicago, Duck wasn't just an artist, he was representation. In a drill scene publicly dominated by BD-affiliated rappers, Duck was the one voice from the other side getting mainstream attention. When he lost his life in broad daylight in Chicago's Gold Coast area, it shook the city and the culture. So when Should've Ducked dropped, it wasn't viewed as entertainment, it was viewed as mocking someone they respected. Years of tension between GDs and BDs were already there. This song poured fuel on a fire that had been burning for decades. Now add T to the picture. A Memphis rapper with no Chicago ties, appearing on a track they saw as disrespect. And to GDs, it didn't matter that he wasn't from their city. He was still on the record. Then, life changed fast. After his Florida case, Pooh Shiesty received a 5-year federal sentence and was sent to USP Victorville in California. This isn't a low-security camp. This is a serious yard with inmates doing heavy time. Federal authorities track everything: your affiliations, your history, even your music. Inmates often say placements are never random. Pooh was from Memphis. His case was in Florida. Yet he landed in California, far from home, far from visitors, in a place where Chicago inmates were present. That distance matters. Isolation makes you vulnerable, and word travels fast inside federal systems. Before Pooh even settled in, people already knew who he was and what song he had been on. That's when phones started ringing for someone who had just left that exact unit. King Yella had just paroled from Unit 6B at Victorville. When he spoke in an interview, he said GD inmates were calling him asking what they should do about Pooh Shiesty being there. That's how serious it was. Yella claimed he told them to leave Pooh alone. He explained that Pooh probably didn't understand the depth of Chicago politics and only did the feature for music reasons. Some people doubted Yella's story. Then he showed proof he had actually been housed there. Meanwhile, comments online from Pooh's circle tried to deny it, but Yella stood firm. He wasn't trying to create drama. He was explaining prison reality. According to him, GDs felt disrespected and wanted answers. In prison terms, getting pressed isn't a conversation. It's a confrontation. While you're approached, questioned, and expected to explain yourself. If your answers aren't accepted, things can turn physical fast. This isn't social media where you can ignore people. This is face-to-face on a yard where respect and reputation matter every single day. The key detail people noticed was Pooh Shiesty's silence after Yella's claims went viral. In street code, if something is completely false, you shut it down immediately. Pooh didn't. He said nothing publicly. That silence spoke loudly to many who understood how this works. It suggested there was truth there, even if details weren't known. Then a leaked song surfaced that changed how everyone saw the situation. In the track, he mentioned his first day on the jail transport and referenced clashing with GDs. He didn't spell it out directly. He didn't say he got beat up. But the wording was clear enough for those listening closely. Rappers rarely speak on prison experiences unless something meaningful happened. The fact he mentioned GDs at all was seen as confirmation of what King Yella had described months earlier. He framed it in a way that kept his image intact, but he acknowledged the situation happened. That alone validated the story without him ever doing an interview about it. It also showed that the situation stuck with him. First-day memories in prison are usually the ones you never forget, and for him to bring that up in music later means it left an impact. This situation highlights something many young artists overlook. Features aren't just music. They can carry street history you don't fully understand. Drill music often mixes real conflicts with entertainment. And when artists step into that world for exposure, they sometimes inherit problems that were never theirs. And those problems don't stop at prison gates. Songs follow you, lyrics follow you, associations follow you. In prison, people have time. They listen. They watch interviews. They study paperwork. They know exactly who you are before you ever step on the yard. That Dirk feature probably felt like a win in 2020. In 2022, it became something he had to answer for in person. What makes this story different is King Yella's role. He could have easily encouraged violence. Instead, he told his people to leave Pooh alone. He recognized that Pooh wasn't part of Chicago politics and likely didn't understand what he stepped into. That kind of maturity is rare in situations like this. Even with that, the tension didn't vanish. Not being pressed still happened. Questions were still asked. Respect still had to be addressed. The bigger picture here is about how close music and real life have become in the drill scene. We've seen artists lose their freedom or their lives because the lines got blurred. What sounds like lyrics to fans can sound like personal disrespect to someone who lived through that history. And when you can't scroll away from it, when you're living in the same space as the people who feel offended, things get serious very fast. He likely never imagined that a feature verse would turn into a prison issue 2 years later. He probably saw it as a career move, nothing more. But this situation proves that in certain lanes of hip-hop, nothing is just music. Every word, every association, every collaboration can carry weight you don't see until it's too late. He made it through that time. He didn't come home telling the story in interviews. He didn't go online defending himself. He put it in the music quietly, in a way only people paying attention would catch. That approach says a lot. He wasn't running from what happened, but he also wasn't trying to turn it into a spectacle. Fame didn't protect him in there. Money didn't protect him. Status didn't protect him. On that yard, he was just another inmate with a song attached to his name that some people took personally. That's a reality many upcoming artists don't think about when chasing big features and viral moments. The real question is whether this changes how artists think before jumping on certain tracks. Was it bad luck that he landed around GDs, or was it a decision that carried consequences he couldn't see at the time? Maybe a bit of both. But the lesson is clear. In this space, music and real life are connected tighter than most people realize. King Yella's attempt to calm the situation showed that not everyone wants problems to grow. Pooh's later acknowledgement showed he accepted that it happened and moved forward. And for everyone watching from the outside, it's a reminder that what sounds like entertainment can have real-world weight in places most people will never see. One verse, one feature. And it followed him all the way behind federal walls.